Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Fahimuddin Khan and I'm from Group 1. Uh, Today, our group will going to present about predictive analysis of patient deterioration, and our case study is cardiac arrest. I will be going to introduce about our introduction and everything, starting points, uh, which include data collection, EHR, vital signs, DCP-0129, and pre-process features. Before I start, I need to mention about color coding as well, which we are using in our framework, which are the purple color coding explain about giving details about technical, which includes AI plus patient, AI plus data. The orange, it's all about clinical, which describe about doctors plus patient. And gray and green, it's about governance, including safety plus ethics. So before any AI system begins analyzing a patient, everything starts with data, but not just the basic data. We are using something called multi-modal data collection. This means we collect different types of patient information at the same time, including ECG telemetry, which shows real-time heart activity, which electronic health records contains the patient's medical history, like what were the patient past illness, what medicines the patient was taking in the past, and all the test records which has been done by patient and complete doctor notes which patient got after every visit. And it also include live vital signs like heart rate, oxygen levels, and blood pressure. So by combining all of this, the system gets a complete understanding of the patient instead of relying on single number. However, before AI can use this data, we must focus on uh, clinical safety. This is the most important step. So what is clinical safety? Clinical safety including protecting patients from risk and harm when using medical care or technology. So in healthcare, we cannot allow AI to make decisions unless the system is safe, reliable, and properly tested. Doctors must be able to trust the data and the system because patient lives are involved. So this is where the NHS safety standards called DCP 0129 comes in. So what is the DCP 0129? DCP 0129 ensures that any digital health system is carefully checked for risk before it is used. It requires risk assessment, safety documentation, and clinical validation. And it makes sure risks are identified, systems test has been done perfectly, and also one more important, the patients are protected. In simple terms, it acts as a safety checkpoint, making sure that AI will not harm patients before it is allowed to operate. This step also covers governance and ethics. Patient data must be protected, used fairly, and handled responsibly. Without this layer, even the most advanced AI system could become dangerous. So once the patient data has been safely collected, clinically validated, and governed under NHS safety standards, it is then prepared for AI analysis. Before prediction can begin, the raw clinical data must first be clean, organized, and converted into a structured format that the AI system can understand. This pre-processing stage acts as the bridge between data collection and intelligent decision making. So to summarize, our process follows three key stages. First, we collect high quality multi-source data. Second, we ensure clinical safety and compliance using standards like DCP 0129. And only after that, the AI system is allowed to begin analysis. I will now hand over to the next speaker, which will going to explain how the AI process this data. Thank you very much.
My name is Goodness Oluremi Arigbe Osula. From the pre-process plus futures, the score is input into the risk prediction, which is our AI model. It will elevate risk prediction, which is equals to 0.80 or less. This is a need for sharp output to explain the black box. Now that the patient data has been safely collected and governed, it enters the brain of our system, the AI core. This is where the system begins to analyze data, predict parent risk. From here, I'll hand over to my colleague.
Thank you. My name is Damilola Okusolubo, and I'll be looking at the black box. In this part that focus on the making the AI explainable and trustworthy. In the diagram, we can see the sharp outputs, that link through the support pathway. This is the key. Instead of just giving the risk score, the system gives why it makes that decision. So if a patient is flagged at high risk and is a clinical and the clinical is ensured, they follow that support link to see the reason behind it. For example, raising heart rates and falling oxygen level. This turn the AI output, that is sharp output, into evidence and not just a number. This is important because in healthcare, clinicians cannot rely only on the black box. They need the transparency. So by providing the clear explanation, we are not asking them to trust the system, but we are helping them to make the decision at the end of everything. We can now notice the no pathway in the diagram that shows the clinicians can disagree or override the AI. So woman judgment is always maintained and feed into clinical validation, adding another layers of safety because the action is taken. The shift is from the AI is from a deductor to a collaborate partner that is supporting and is explaining and working alongside with the clinicians. Sharp outputs and clinical validation and no parts. If the AI flag the patient, but the nurse is unsure, then the sharp outputs provide a support link to the clinicians to trust the machine, but providing them with the evidence and the rationale, which is essential for AI development. In essence, the move from the AI from the move to the AI from the detectorate to the collaborate partner is to the clinician validation. Thank you.
Okay, I'm taking the next part, which is the main focus is going to be on the orange node. My name is Olalekan Adiono, and in this aspect, we are only dealing with the human intervention. And this system works like an early warning support tools for clinicians, not replacements. So it all starts with the AI model continuously monitoring patient data, which is the vital sign and clinical records. So the system calculates a risk score for each patient. If the risk stays below 0.80, nothing happens and monitoring continues in the background. But once the risk goes above 0.80, the system raises an alarm to the critical care outreach teams. So from this place now, the first key point is that the AI model does not take action. It only signals that something might be wrong. So after the alert, the clinician steps in to carry out the clinical assessment. So this is the most important stage where the clinician check the patient physically, review their history, and also decide whether the risk flag by the AI is accurate. So this prevents false alarm from turning into unnecessary treatment. So if the clinician then confirms that the patient is at risk, then an intervention is carried out. So this might include giving medication, providing oxygen, or escalating or giving the CPR or escalating the patient into the intensive care. So in all this process, the key thing is no treatment happens without the human decision. So after the intervention, the patient outcome is recorded. This information is used for learning, system improvement, and audit process purposes. So the key idea here in all this process is human is taking control, and the AI model acts like a sentry that watches and alerts. So the clinician then remain a decision maker at every point in the critical steps. So this ensures patient safety, accountability, and ethics compliances. In this approach, this meets the human in loop requirement under the GDPR because decisions are not automated. A qualified profession always review and approve actions before anything is done. So in simple terms, this system detects, alerts human, then human decide, and then action is taken. Thank you very much. I'll pass this to the next person.
The system evolution, the learning loops. My focus is on patient outcome, audit, ethics, and model retraining. My name is Adeleke Oluwaseun Jacob. Now, the right side gray and the green nodes and the bottom operational learnings loop. After the patient outcomes, after all the intervention and the clinical assessment, we enter what we call a governance phase. We have audit logging and ethic reviews notes to what? What they do is to ensure transparency. The performance monitoring continues and being sent back to the clinical assessment. Now, one of the most vital parts is that the model retrain loop. The model retrain loop. By feeding outcome, model retrain loop. By feeding the outcomes, data back into the system, we exhibit what we call double loop learning. The framework doesn't just react, evolve, addressing data drifts, long-term clinical efficacies. So we can see the operational learning here being taken back to the first where the data being collected. By bridging the gap between the raw telemetry and proactive clinical interventions. Now, what happens if the patient's outcomes? It validates. The result of this patient outcome goes to the clinical validations. Now, let's take, for example, if this node, this clinical validations gives what we call false alerts, because it's possible that we have what we call false alerts. This diamond, this shows the system handles errors gracefully by going back to the model retrain. It go back to the first part, where we have what we call this AI. It come back to this sharp output. It's back to the risk predictions and test it, enter if it is greater than 0.80 or not. Now, we can see that our data gotten from here are being sent back for the purpose of learning back to the NHS so that we can use this to train our AI model. Now, we see these workflows as a very useful because it can test and retrain, and it doesn't give a final validation because AI model, this our AI model, we don't 100% trust in it. We still need our doctor in place to give a final verdict of what really happened because it's a black box. And this is the fear in healthcare sectors. using an AI. That is why we setting some things in place to check, especially this DCP 012N checks as the government to check what is going on. And at the same time, we try to do the auditing and the ethics review performance. So thank you. God bless you.